So along the lines of boycotts, the idea that you're going to turn this thing around, this attorney says the precedent is set nationally that if you sue as a gambler or a fan, you don't have a chance to win. They generally get thrown out because courts have held that the plaintiffs don't have standing to sue. In this particular framework, the promoter is the fighter. All of a sudden, Tyson, it's magically healthy enough to fight, looking like a shell of himself compared to his training videos. So you bought into the farce. That's
it's true. Look,
you're fine. You're a sucker.
yes.
You put your money up on this thing. Now, if you were betting Jake Paul, you're naturally happy, thinking, wow, this was the easiest money I ever made. But, I mean, the indicator should have been that the guy was being carried out of a plane on a stretcher for some kind of bizarre fact of an ulcer 2 fucking months ago. Instead, we're looking at these training videos and going, hey, it looks pretty sharp to me. I wouldn't want to get in there with him.
Yeah, he's punching that bag. I always love when they punch the bag and everyone gets excited.
You may as well have gone to some bar where they have that thing where they measure the might of
where you punch it one time.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And they're going, whoa, look at that, a 700. This guy's fucking tough. I wouldn't want to meet him.
Like, look, it's again. You watch. There's nothing wrong with. I'm not mocking people who watch it. I don't care. It was free on Netflix.
I mean, to watch it, it's entertainment. Some form.
I don't judge people for what they watch, but to then bet on it and then be mad that you bet on it.
You motherfuckers, you ripped me off.
What are you doing?
The time.
Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
That's always the way, right? You fall for the dumbest fucking scam ever.
You're mad at them.
This isn't even Bernie, where people were actually seemingly making some money. At one
Make
point.
money, yeah.
As absurd as it seemed that these returns were coming back and nobody was losing. It was always positive. People were interviewing him as if he was an expert, and he had the people fooled.
Yes.
You get duped in that, right? It looked a little too good to be true, and then everybody's making wads of cash. But isn't that the way of the world? You do the dumbest fucking thing you've ever done in your life. You buy into the reality of the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, and are assuming that it's on a level. Talking about that it's actually a competition,
Fight, yeah.
and you lose your money, and then you want to sue somebody. Fucking dumb, man. Again, having no chance to win, 0 chance. There's no precedent for anybody going, oh, you know what? These people really got ripped off. You buy into the circus, you end up looking like a clown. And
That's, I mean,
you just have to eat it. Yeah.
You bet.
You bet your money on Mike Tyson. Yeah, there was a tendency. I mean, we talked to a lot of people before the fight that were in the handicapping business, and they were saying, hey, you know what? It's worth a shot there. You're getting almost 2 to 1. No, you're not. You're getting your money out of your bank account.
You're getting robbed.
You literally, I mean, like somebody came up to you with a ski mask and a gun and said, give me all your money. And you said, just don't hurt me.
Exactly.
Can you sue the guy? I guess in that case, you could hope he got arrested. But in this case, you're flat out fucked. That's all there is to it. Interesting, though, that these kind of, the speculation about something like that actually rising and taking place. So somebody will get the movement going. No, Lubie? I mean, it's kind of like you with your, fire Mike Norvell. You get the movements going. Usually you're the one that's carrying the torch.
I don't think I have to carry that one. I'm not by myself there.
He's not getting fired, right? There's almost no mention of it.
No, he's not getting fired. He's going to change his staff.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. Like, they changed the hitting coach. And then if they win 10 games next year, he'll be safe. If they win 6 to 8 again,
they go 500, he's fine.
He's done. Yeah, he's done. I mean, it is what it is.
Imagine that you have this magical Cinderella season that could have led to a national championship, and a year later you're fucked.
Yeah, no, this is a drop off. Like, we've seen drop offs before, but it's never happened. We've never seen a team start top 10 and finish like this. Never.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, just easy pickings. Everybody wants to see. Imagine that everybody wants to see Florida State on their schedule.
Yeah,
it's like the old days of seeing Duke before Manny Diaz got there. Well, no, Duke got reasonable
before Elko.
Several years ago. Sure. Yeah. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good to be with you guys. We're going to have a trivia challenge today. You trivia nuts out there. We love you guys, and we thank you for supporting the trivia show for all of these years, over 25 years. Might be zeroing in on 30. Dave Gurggles Gergely will be joining us later on to conduct the festivities there. And you can dial us up at 954-471-0070, 954-471-0070. Football action tonight. Kind of an interesting matchup here, Lubie, in this sense. The Steelers are winning, and people are even considering them as an outsider. Does anybody really think they're going to win at all? I don't know. Do you know anybody that doesn't hang out at like the Galway Shaw there, the Steelers bar, and any other Steelers stronghold? Does anybody think the Steelers are going all the way this year? I would be in the camp of saying no to that. Don't appear to be that overwhelming, especially offensively. The over-under in the game tonight would be an indicator there. Going against a Browns team that has a sub-500 record, the over-under total in this game, they're expecting a barn burner, Lubie, 36 and a hook. So the Steelers favored by 3.5 on the road against the Cleveland Browns. Any opinion on that, my friend? Your man, Jameis Winston, is at the wheel for the Cleveland Browns. They've had their share of mixed bag of results this year. Weren't expected to be much. Deshaun Watson has turned out to be a bigger bust from the standpoint, probably the biggest bust in the history of huge quarterback contracts. Deshaun Watson, $232 million of guaranteed money. That all looks like a complete waste of time because they got almost nothing out of this guy except a dark cloud of shame that went along with embracing somebody that had that many. I realized that he was able to keep this quiet, right? It's a whole Matt Gaetz thing. Although Gates didn't pay anybody off, did he? He was just paying these girls to follow him around and have sex with them. How does he get around those Venmo payments to these two women that have testified that that was strictly straight up for having sex, Libby? How does he work his way around that? Any idea?
I have no
What's
idea.
the excuse there? I mean, what was the reason that on like 29 occasions he was Venmoing these women money? Were they housekeepers? Were they, taking care of his pets? What was the reason, though, Libby? What do you think?
I have no. Well, no, we know what. I mean, come on.
Well, we know. I mean, it seems that way. Yeah, we can't assume this, can we, Libby? That for certainty that's what the deal was, but it is kind of odd. You know what I find really odd about the whole thing, and I love that people just ignore this. How many people have you known in your lifetime, Libby? I mean, thousands. Or considered friends, hundreds of people at least, right? That you've considered friends in your lifetime over the years, even if it's a casual acquaintance. I don't know of one person in my circle of friends and or people that I've been acquainted with. I don't know a single person that's ever been brought up on allegations of any kind of sexual assault. I've never known anybody. I mean, I've known my share of scumbags too, and being in a degenerate world, gambling and boxing and horse racing and all of that stuff. You're figuring you're going to run across some unsavory characters, and never in my lifetime have I run across somebody that had any kind of accusations, was ever on trial, was ever being investigated for sexual assault charges and or any kind of deviant behavior in that fashion that would represent a criminal offense. How is it that, like, I don't know, is it more than two of the Trump cabinet appointees? And Trump himself, of course, has actually been found complicit in a civil court of sexual assault. How is it that everybody this guy knows that he has decided is going to be a big-time member of his cabinet has sexual assault allegations going against him? Now, does that just come with the territory that automatically when you get this high-profile political position, somebody's going to come forward and say, yeah, he did it? But have you known anybody in your lifetime, Lubie, that was ever being investigated for and or was tried or accused of or charged with any kind of sexual assault? I don't know anybody, and you know the kind of people. I mean, it's not like I was always in the most kosher of worlds. So, what do you think? How odd is that? That everybody that Trump appoints to a cabinet position, or it seems that way, has these kind of allegations following them around and assertions that they were involved in this kind of activity, including some apparent physical evidence. Libby, well, what do you make of that?
Well, the Gates one's fun because there's actually
there's a trail, a paper trail,
there's pictures, there's videos, he literally bragged to people about it, like constantly, like, and the things he was bragging about were things that are definitively illegal. Like, yeah, I drug these women, like. Okay, what else you need? It's like you don't even need the trial. But the funny thing is, we got to this place where the right, especially because the left doesn't do this. So you've had senators come out and doing crazy. The mayor in New York, no one's coming to his defense. I'll tell you that right now. Adams, no one on the left's like, oh, that Adams, what a good man. Like they're investigating him. They're looking into him. Like the right's gotten this thing where it's like 180 degrees from the Nixon, right? Because wasn't the Republicans just as hard on Nixon as the Democrats? Like, Republicans circle the wagons now in the weirdest fucking way. They're like, we're not releasing that report. It's like, dude,
why would anybody want to see that?
You do the report. It's a fucking House report.
I guess, the defense has been that the FBI and their probe and the Department of Justice didn't file charges against the guy.
Yeah, okay. And they went in on their own and did an ethics committee report a year later, realizing that this guy's fucking gross. Like, no one in the House likes him. His own Republicans can't stand him.
Just from the things that he
they
says.
Like, are happy. They want him out. They're like, good, let him go be AG. At least he'll be fucking out of here. It's like, oh my God, guys.
This is a guy that literally stood by his conjecture that it's only fat, ugly women that are out protesting outside abortion clinics.
What?
And they said, do you want to pull back on that statement? And he said, no.
He doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't give a shit about nothing. I mean, typical, beautiful start to the Trump administration here. Yeah, you know what? If you didn't think the first one was enough of a circus, this one's
oh my God.
beauty. Did he really appoint? Did I get this right? Did he appoint Linda McMahon as the Secretary of Education?
Yes, the two yesterday were fun. I was like, education.
I mean, think about these clowns that he's bringing in. Who would have thought of these people? Would you have ever thought that Mehmet Oz, Dr. Oz,
Medicaid? Medicaid.
He almost makes the Robert F. Kennedy thing in charge of health services and human services seem stable.
Well, no, that's the problem.
At least he was a doctor of some sort.
We've gotten to is he? I really don't know.
I think he actually has a medical.
He's Dr. Phil type of shit where they call him doctor, but he's a scam artist.
I don't think it's like that they just nicknamed him like he was Dr. J or Doc Rivers or something.
I don't know. I got in the place where I'm not doing
Doc Menich was an actual doctor.
I'm not doing this one's worse than like literally every single appointment outside.
Clown show.
Rubio at least has been a senator a long time, so I get he still isn't Secretary of State material, but in this cabinet, he at least has semblance.
He's dignified compared.
He knows what to do. He knows what the Secretary of State does. Like every other person has no idea what that department even does, and they have no idea how to even be a part of that department, let alone head. None of them have any idea. Like none of them have any idea how, let alone they're going to be criminal, whatever Trump wants them to do. They don't even understand the department. Like they just don't.
This is perceived to be good by these people still.
Yeah, okay.
Now, if you were a Trump supporter and you looked at this, I mean, how do you look at this and not, just have a level of astonishment? I guess, you could see this coming, but when half of the cabinet comes from Fox News, at least put a weatherman in charge of the environment or something.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
somebody that's actually looked at a chart once before that has something to do with what it is they're going to be regulating. All right, let's get off it. It's astounding. It really is. It's amazing to me. People embrace this. And then you see this Mike Johnson. I mean, does he come off as the smarmiest piece of shit that you've ever seen in your life?
Oh, they're like, we're not going to release the report. And they're like proud of it. It's like, dude, you're admitting to covering up things. Like, who's proud of that?
If the report is favorable or somehow vindicates this guy and deems these assertions to be absurd, and then wouldn't you want to just hang it up on every telephone pole in the country and say, hey, see, he didn't do nothing. It's all bullshit. But that's not the case. All right, we want to get into something serious here. That would be the trivia challenge for this week. So let's bring on the man himself, Mr. Dave Gurggles Gergely, joining us here on the show. At least we think he is. There he is, Dave Gurggles Gergely. How are you, my friend?
Doing well, and I've been following all these appointments too, and I think Dr. Oz is in for some trouble. There's been an expose that he's been screwing around with not only munchkins, but winged monkeys too.
The best part
and another cabinet post, supposedly the director of communications is up between Norm Crosby and Dr. Erwin Corey.
Yeah, professor.
So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Corey would make more sense than most of these guys.
Great. Corey would be
Well, he's deliberately trying to play a fool. It's incredible. All right.
Wow.
How are things going, Dave Gurggles Gergely? Any bets? Anything?
Doing great. As a matter of fact, 1 week from today, I will be in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You're going to the
yeah.
Dolphin game. That's right.
Yeah,
Yes, you do.
we
The
had the
Nando
party
special.
for Fernando on Sunday, and it was like a Hallmark card. He knew nothing about it, and out of the back of the bar at Silks, Andrea brought his whole family in from San Francisco,
Oh, wow.
including his brother, who's like 75 and a doctor, and he broke down in tears. It was terrific.
Oh, wow.
And then you guys gave him a trip to the Dolphin game in Green Bay.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and I'm going with him. So yeah, we collected it, and we collected an extra 2 G's for him for spending money. So
What?
he's buying every meal.
Where
and
did you find
breakfast,
these
lunch, and
people
dinner.
that were willing
Where
to?
are these people?
Yeah, just the regular patrons threw in a couple of bucks each.
Wow. How did you bring that about?
Well, Andrea started it, and then we had the last race at Gulfstream was named for him, called one of his famous expressions, the "Take It Easy handicap."
Nice.
And one of the guys put $100 win ticket in his pocket on the 10 horse ridden by the train. Lionel Reyes went off 10-1 and got beat half a length.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I have a great gambling story for you if you want to
Yeah, I do.
entertain this. All right, and this is a beauty. My friend Francesco, of course, calls me yesterday. Got the Luca Panici connection. He says that I believe this was the last race on. What was you talking about? The last race on Sunday there, Gurggles, or Saturday?
Yeah, Jesus Rios win that one.
Okay, all right. Well, then it must have been Saturday. Whatever it was, Luca Panici ended up winning the last race. But what he had done is he called my buddy and he told him, "Hey, I have a horse for you in the last race." So Francesco says, "Are you riding?" And he says, "No, it's a different horse, but this horse cannot lose." All right, so Francesco takes his advice, bets that horse, and then who mows down the horse that was he was touted on? Luca Panici at $50, and nobody has a dime on him, including Luca, who told Francesco that his horse had absolutely no chance. That it was an automatic throwout. So he ends up winning the race and beating the horse that he touted the people on in the process. I mean, that could only happen to me when getting tips from a jockey, where the jockey himself tells you that this horse is a pig that I'm riding, has no chance, wins the race, and knocks you out of the tip horse that he touted you on. So,
Wow, that is a good story.
yeah, no, that's a rarity that something like that would happen. I mean, maybe if Carmine Abatello was involved in a harness race and he touted you off his own horse, knowing he was going to win and pay a lot of money, that's one thing. But this was just the opposite. In all sincerity, Luca telling Francesco and then the rest of the world through Francesco's connections that he had no chance and that the other horse that ran second was going to win for fun. Unbelievable. All right, we're going to get into the trivia challenge here, and let's just do it, right? Dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. I had to double check my memory bank there to see if that was even close to the right number, but I believe it is. 954-417-0070 if you want to play the game. Dave's going to fire off a bunch of questions. You give the answers. You get the point totals. High point totals go to the finals, and a Landlubber's gift certificate will be the top prize. Louie will be there later on today with the ultimate live trivia competition. So you can look forward to that and maybe even pick up your gift certificate right there. Do you actually bring them with you, Lubie, to give out when the winners come?
If there are people that play there, play here, yeah, I hand them in person. I mean,
okay.
If they don't, then we mail them. But
we have that to look
get your gift certificate.
All right, let's do it. Dave Gurggles Gergely, in honor of the Polyman, who has been under consideration, although he was overqualified to be the head of the Department of Treasury. Overqualified. Nobody knows more about juice payments and things like that, which would be significant in trying to set the Fed interest rates and things of that nature, than the Polyman Paul Massell. And yet, I mean, under consideration, but was deemed to be too qualified because he's felt the pain of financial crunches and therefore can relate if we ever went into any kind of recession, which you're thinking, are those people going to come out on top, or are eggs going to be like $8 by the end of the second year of the Trump administration? That would be the ultimate slap in the face. Everybody thinking food's going to get cheaper. All right, here we go. In honor of the Polyman Paul Massell, we're going to begin with Dave Gurggles Gergely. Starting out the trivia challenge for this week with Dave and some
easy baseball. This baseball writer on this manager's tendencies to overmanage once said, his detractors faulted him for overmanaging. As a matter of fact, he used to give more signs than the Coast Guard. Is that Norman Chad, Hanging Chad, Chad Everett, or Edward Everett Horton?
What happened to Norman Chad? Is he still alive?
I think so.
He's alive. I haven't seen him in forever.
I haven't seen this guy in a long, long time. All right, Ron is up first. Ron, you're on the Trivia Challenge. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, fellas. Let's go with A.
Good morning, Mr. Ron. Thank you.
Correct, my friend.
And I'm proud of Ron. Last week, we stopped the Chronics from winning by the question on the famed egg. By what jewelry company? We all said Tiffany's. The one lady said Fabergé. We overruled her, and we lost by that amount of points. Way to go, Ron.
Good job.
All right. Baseball, true or false? Believe it or not, the one and only Bill Veeck sold the Cleveland Indians in 1949 for $22 million to fund his divorce settlement.
Yeah.
True or false?
Let's go true.
Sounds logical.
It is true.
Yep.
Certainly relatable.
That sounds about right.
Very good. 2 for 2. Why else would you do that? 2 for 2, my friend. Did he have to give her $11 million, or did he?
I don't know what the number was.
All right, going for 5 points, Ron.
All right, Ron, which team won the first ever NFL game played in London? Was that the New York Giants, the Miami Dolphins, the New England Patriots, or the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Let's go Miami Dolphins.
That's what I'm going to say.
No, it was a team not winning too much these days, the New York Giants.
G-Men. Yes. Tommy DeVito at quarterback this week. That's gonna be fun.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All these sports talk guys, I heard them talking about how could they possibly start DeVito instead of the other guy, and this guy's second string all year. Well, what they don't know is the second string quarterback had a whole bunch of incentives in his contract for playing time that would have gotten if he played. So they didn't realize that.
Drew Lock.
All right.
The second string guy there. So they aced him out over financial considerations.
Exactly.
Well, and then also if Jones got hurt, he would be guaranteed like 20 mil.
Yes.
That if he just sits out and doesn't get hurt, they can shoo him away and not pay him that 20 million. So yes, there was a lot of money involved with Tommy Cutlets playing.
You're going to see Daniel Jones standing right in front of the kicker as he starts to warm up on the sidelines there, and
on purpose.
maybe get crunched right in the balls.
That would be the move.
25 million. It'd be like Tyson standing in the ring there and saying hello to Jake Paul for 20 mil. Okay, going for 7 here, Ron. I would set the pace.
NBA, Ron, who was the first player to be named NBA MVP, Finals MVP, and All-Star Game MVP in the same season? Was that Willis Reed, Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, or Rick Barry?
Oh, boy. So Rick Barry.
I'm going to go with the great Jerry West.
I'm going to say Wilt.
And Willis Reed, 1970.
Willis Reed. I would never.
That was my next guess.
Nice try, Ron. You may be Ron later. Hold on.
All right, Ron. Blancaroo there gets 2 points, but is not completely eliminated from the competition, although it's not looking so good, as they say. 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. If you'd like to play the game, Gurggles, no doubt. Did you get him a box of cigars for the trip?
I did not, but I will bring some cigars with us to Green Bay. But according to the Weather Channel, game time temperature next Thursday at Green Bay, the night game, is going to be 26 degrees. So we may have a couple sticks before we go to the game. And I'm looking forward to that part.
I think you better smoke some weed before you go to the game.
That's not my style or his.
All right.
Matter of fact.
Yeah.
We're flying into Milwaukee. Get a rental car from Milwaukee. Got a nice hotel about 13 miles from the stadium. Beautiful. We're all set.
Okay. All right. What do you got going here?
But Perdomo Cigars, I forgot.
Yeah. You got to mention that.
700. We'll tell you more about them after we deal with Andy.
All right. Well, we're going to throw it to this break. Lubie's got us. We're juggling here. We'll come back in just a moment. Dave's got some favorable things to say about Perdomo Cigars. We'll continue the game, and we'll be back in a moment. Now that
The time.
chaos. It's 8:31. Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubber's Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Solo Volante will be coming late. Oh, Solo Volante. The Belmont's now 1.8 miles. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Pacici just switch the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the show. Immersed in the Trivia Challenge here. That's Dave Gurggles Gergely. We got Mike Lubie Lubitz at the controls. You can dial us up if you want to play. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070. Let's get right back into it. Ron bombed out. Didn't get a total worthy of being in the finals. Still may make it. And here's Dave, our next set of questions.
NBA hoops. This unknown DJ from this city on a proposal to name a highway after Dominic Wilkins quipped, "Yeah, that's this highway with a no passing sign." What's that? The city of Atlanta, Boston, Chicago, or Detroit?
All right, there's a scrambler. Hey, look at this. It's always encouraging, as we say, to hear this man's voice and know that he's alive and in the flesh here, unless this is being generated by artificial intelligence. Andy, you're on the Trivia Challenge. Hello, Andy.
Yes, sir. My buddies. I'll go with A.
Good job, sir.
All right, I guess, this would be an appropriate question for a lot of our friends, but in this case, it's a medical issue. Are you in or out, as they say?
I'm out.
Good.
I'm out. Good. All right. Good to know you're out and about. 1 point going for two.
Hockey, Andy, true or false? Believe it or not, actor Steve Carell of The Office and The 40-Year-Old Virgin played goalie for Division III Denison University in Ohio. True or false?
Jeez.
Isn't he the new Attorney General?
Not yet.
Secretary of Transportation.
Too bad they whacked Whitey. You made a good one.
I'll go with false on that one.
False.
No, that's true.
It's true. Oh, wow.
He was a goalie, yeah.
All right. One going for four here, Andy. Put you right on top.
All right, Andy, NFL football. Earlier this year, the New York Giants scored 3 touchdowns versus the Washington Commanders and lost, even though the Commanders did not score 1 touchdown. That was only the second time ever it happened. Who was the last losing team the last time that happened back in 1989? That's the team that scored 3 touchdowns. Their opponent scored none, but they still lost. Was that the Vikings, the Rams, the Washington, or Detroit?
What were the first two?
Vikings.
The Vikings, the Rams, the Redskins, or the Lions?
I got no clue, but I'll go with the Rams.
Saying the Rams.
Nice.
Clue is good. The
Wow.
Vikings won 23-21 in overtime over the Rams.
Yeah,
I have
I had the
4.
Rams. I had the Rams laying 3 in that game.
Probably did.
All right, going
right.
for 6 here in the lead. Oh no, going for 9.
9.
I'm going for 9, bro.
9. Don't
Yeah,
say
that's
it.
right. Hockey.
Should be.
In 1971, this NHL team scored a record 8 goals in one period.
Oh, Jesus.
What's that? The Bruins, the Blackhawks, the Canadiens, or the Rangers?
What year was that, Gurgs?
1971.
71.
I go with the Bruins.
Bruins.
No, it was the Blue Shirts, the New York Rangers.
Rangers. All right.
Well, hang around.
Yeah, wait a second. I gotta complain.
Okay.
In 1993, I still didn't get my gift certificate for
Yeah, it's still good.
radio station.
Take it up with Don.
Radio station. And,
They probably don't exist anymore.
That certificate is still good. Just David Shula's in Jupiter now. Just go knock on the door and have lunch.
all right.
He'd probably let you in. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
All right, 84 points. We could be talking to you again very soon here. As we work our way towards the finals of the Trivia Challenge, you can jump on board at 954-417-0070. We're being accused here on the chat line of election fraud, Lubie, as Lenny's already filed several complaints about the fact that his call is not going through. 0070 if you'd like to join us here on the phone lines. I assure you that we make every attempt, Gurgles, and you know this for a fact. We make every attempt to ensure people that this game is on the level.
Yes.
Do we not? I mean, this is not
Yes.
in Jake Paul fight where they're figuring, okay, and we were talking about this yesterday, where they literally a few months prior had wheeled Tyson off a plane on a stretcher for a medical emergency. And they had to realize that, look, it would be inadvisable for this fight to actually go on. But nobody makes any money unless they step into the ring.
Bingo.
So, in a very casual, and I would imagine somewhat friendly arrangement, Jake says, I get 40, you get 20, nothing's going to happen, and boom, they're off to the races. But if they don't step in there, nobody gets paid. So,
Right.
bit of a farce there. All right, let's do it. Our next set of questions as we try to decide a champion here in this week's edition of the Trivia Challenge.
Hockey. This Canadiens announcer during a particular chippy game said, wow, there have been more cheap shots in this game than in a Mexican cantina during happy hour. Was that the great Rick Jenneret, Rick Riley, Rick Mahorn, or Matterhorn?
And, see, I told you this thing was on the level. We didn't try to Lenny, the Chronic. You're on the Trivia Challenge.
How you doing, guys?
We're doing great, Lenny.
How are you guys? For the VA.
Good morning, sir.
He's on the money, as usual. 1 point going for 2.
All right, hoops, Lenny. True or false? Believe it or not, the late Fred Gwynn, a.k.a. Herman Munster, and the judge in that famous movie, was a high school basketball star in South Carolina, averaged 18 points a game and 4 blocks, and was offered a scholarship from both South Carolina and the Citadel. True or false?
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to say false.
I'm going to say false.
Yeah, that's false.
I got
When you
one.
threw in the Citadel as one of the two
Citadel.
people seeking this
I
7th.
gave it away.
Go in, Gurgles. All right, 2 for 2. Lenny gets by the true-false question, a rarity here on the show. So we'll see
All right,
what
Lenny, baseball. What pitcher won both bookend games surrounding the 1961 Phillies 23-game losing streak? In other words, he won the last one, and then he won it to end it.
Okay.
Was that Art Mahaffey, Chris Short, Jim Bunning, or John Buzzhart?
Let's go with Mahaffey.
Art Mahaffey.
No, I would
Incorrect.
my guess too, but it was John Buzzhart. Won July 28th and then again on August 20th.
They call him the Buzzard, for good reason. He was able to stay, capitalize on ringing death there to be the answer to that question. Okay, going for 7 here, Lenny. This puts you in the lead, possibly in the finals.
All right.
All right, Lenny, back to the ABA, your favorite. Which of these players was the last to score 50 points in an ABA game? David Thompson, George Gervin, Julius Erving, or George McGinnis?
Ooh. Can you repeat those guys?
Sure. David Thompson, George Gervin, Julius Erving, or George McGinnis?
Go with Thompson.
I'm going to go McGinnis.
Oh,
That's right.
Wow.
David Thompson.
All right.
You know what? The days of fooling Lenny with ABA questions. Has he just been spending time in a library studying ABA history so that he can get even with Gurggles for all those years of tormenting him with the 5-point question, always going into the bag of ABA and that category? All right. Well, we have Lenny with 7. Andy has 4. You can dial us up if you want to play. We'll try and squeeze in another. Lubie, what do you think? 954.
Just gonna ask. I wasn't sure if you guys wanted. Yeah, we can play another.
We'll try it. 954-417-0070. 954-417-0070 if you would like to play the game here. Otherwise, we're going to go to the finals here with but we could do that also. All right, Lubie's busy with this, so I think we're going to.
Yeah, well, meantime, let me.
You never got your word in
Perdomo.
about Perdomo cigars. Yeah.
Yeah, before I so rudely was interrupted by myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, Perdomo Cigars, 305-627-6700, 5150 Northwest 167th Street, the place to go. You're going to a Thanksgiving dinner and you don't know what to bring, dessert or whatever, bring a box of Perdomo cigars. The host will love that, and it'll last them all through the holidays. Or you're looking to buy Christmas gifts early, get a gift certificate or a box of cigars from Perdomo Cigars. They'll love it. If you're not sure, Monday through Friday, they're open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, Sunday, you want a Perdomo cigar for yourself? No problem. Go online to perdomocigars.com, find a retailer near you that sells these great cigars, and they'll have them in stock for sure. Their new host, if you will, Bruce, always greets people at the door. He's a retired police officer, owned a cigar shop. He's very, very knowledgeable. And, of course, it's 3 generations of making them perfect one at a time. Well, this weekend, when the Ryder Broncos win one of their games in their tournament, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
So we've lost Defo for a second. We're going to go to a quick break.
We lost Defo?
Defo knocked something. You didn't hear that? He was like, oh, fuck.
His parole officer came?
I don't know. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the finals pitting Andy versus Lenny the Chronic. Appreciate everyone joining us, and I'll be right back after this. More of the Trivia Challenge with Dave Gurggles Gergely. Thank you to Landlubbers after this.
Here, let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
Recently realized.
Hear me. I am your new president. From this day on, the official language of San Marcos will be Swedish. Silence! In addition to that, all citizens will be required to change their underwear every half hour. Underwear will be worn on the outside so we can check. Furthermore, all children under 16 years old are now 16 years old.
What's the Spanish word for straitjacket?
Power has driven him mad.
Welcome back to the Defo Show.
Alrighty, so not sure what happened to Defo, but we're still here, Gurggles and I, and we will finish this edition of the Trivia Challenge. The finals are set. We have the Chronic Mr. Lenny. We have Andy. And now I turn you over to the one and only Dave Gurggles Gergely. You guys all know the drill. We'll throw out a question. If you know the answer, say it. If you don't, we'll give you your choices. And we will go back and forth until we have our latest champion for the Trivia Challenge. Now, for the finals, the one and only Dave Gurggles Gergely.
Good luck, guys. I know you're both two knowledgeable players. Baseball, football, you do them all. So we'll go to hockey. We want to know versus what team did Wayne Gretzky score his first ever NHL goal? Versus what team? His first ever NHL goal. Okay. Nobody? No. What's that? Montreal, Vancouver, Toronto, or Calgary?
And I'll go with Vancouver.
Vancouver.
There's a winner.
Nice.
Yeah, the chronic goes down.
All right, congrats, Andy.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for playing. I appreciate it. And I know you're a busy man, Gurgle. So again, when do you head out to? You're just going to Green Bay, or are you going throughout the?
No, I'm flying next Wednesday to Milwaukee. Then we'll drive to Green Bay. We'll be there Thursday for the game and come back home Friday.
So no trivia next week.
I think we'll be dealing with the airport Wednesday.
So this is your first trip to Lambeau?
Yeah, never been there. That's why I'm going.
Oh, I'm jealous. All right, well, enjoy yourself. Have a brat for us. Have some cheese curds. And
yeah, but unfortunately, the only heavy sweatshirt I have is an Eagles sweatshirt.
Good luck with that.
No problem.
We love you, Griggs. We'll see you in a couple weeks, my friend.
Yeah, Lubie.
The one on Dave Gurggles Gergely. Defo left me. It's been a fun day. My internet's gone out a couple times. Defo was pretty the one locked in, and then I think he knocked the camera. Oh, I don't know what happened. I heard a yell, and then I saw no Defo. So it's me and you and we do have the lunchbox coming up at 1:00 the standard time today. We'll be back at Gilbert. It's been a while. Lenore Gilbert, her son Richie, Beth, her husband is the chef. They do a fantastic job. We had a little hiatus as the summer months came and went, and back at Gilbert's today at 1:00. I really enjoyed our time yesterday at Luke's Seafood and Grill, an offshoot time that's there now, Facebook and YouTube if you want to check that out. Tony Segreto, his first time. He is a Davie resident, his first time at Luke's. They do a really good job. I say out east all the time when it comes to like nice and good fish places, because it's not like we don't have them out west, but it feels like they're not as prevalent. They're not as everywhere. Like out east, you have a lot of really good places that do a really good job with fish. We deal with a lot of them, even Kill Fish Shack, Shuck and Dive, so many more. Out east, out west, it's a little different, but it's coming along. And Luke's does a fantastic job in that central, a little bit southern, western part of Broward County over there in Davie. So we had a great time at Luke's, and today we'll be back at Gilbert's, and tomorrow we're at Gulfstream Park. Appreciate everyone that is joining us each and every day here on all the things we do on South Florida Live, the Defo Show in the morning, and then Mike Mayo's Lunchbox later on in the day at our various times. I don't know if Defo's going back, so we'll probably call this an early edition of the Defo Show. I did appreciate everyone that played trivia this morning. We would love newcomers. We do it each and every we try to do it each and every Thursday. Next week it is Thanksgiving, so we won't be doing trivia next week, but we'll be back the following week. Tomorrow we will have a Degenerate Friday. The professor joins us each and every Friday, give us his college football plays. They haven't been his dream. Like, it's not his best year, but it's not a horrible year. Getting through the college football in the NFL world has not been easy to the degenerate in the least. It's been sort of a pain in the ass. You're getting not only a lot of upsets, but it's just spread wise. It's been sort of a disaster. We'll see what happens to Canes back on the field this weekend. They take on Wake Forest. FSU looks to hopefully get their second win of the year as they are playing Charleston Southern. Yes, a directional school with the same record. I can't even make fun of Charleston Southern. They have the same record as FSU, 1-9. FSU, a heavy favorite. We'll see if they can win, let alone cover the spread. The Gators have a tough test with Ole Miss as they've been building steam on the field and on the recruiting trail. And the college football playoff rankings, everyone's a bit. My team sucks this year, and we got fucked last year. So I haven't really been paying attention to the nooks and crannies of it. Like, I know that it's released, and I know this team's here and that team's there. I don't know. Look, the SEC, there's like 6 teams with 2 losses, or 5 teams with 5 and 6 teams with 1 to 2 losses. So, like, to break it down to me, We have 2 weeks left. We know what these rankings mean. FSU had jumped up to the 3rd spot 2 weeks before the goddamn final rankings, won all their games, and somehow moved to 5, undefeated, conference champion. And we're winning every game by 2 scores. So I don't know what these rankings mean, and I don't know what the hell to tell you. And I'm not crying for you, to be brutally honest. The Canes move up, even though they didn't play, and the last time they played, they lost to an ant team. So, I mean, I don't know what to do with the rankings. Everyone that's crying, bitching, and moaning. We have 2 weeks left. At the end of the 2 weeks, we'll see where we are. I think a lot of answers are going to come. The Big Ten, Ohio State and Indiana play. I find it hard to believe that they're not going to get 4 teams in. Unless Ohio State trounces Indiana. They haven't played much. And then their one test to get trounced. I don't think they're going to get trounced. Indiana plays really sound defense, is really fundamentally sound on offense. And Cignetti's done a really good job. He was at James Madison last year and had them undefeated, now has Indiana undefeated. And in the SEC, look, you have a lot of teams. You then added Texas, you added Oklahoma. I mean, like, it's going to be a logjam. That's what it is. But the idea that you're going to get sick, like, you getting 4 teams is a lot of goddamn teams. To ask for more than that is utterly ridiculous. The ACC, it's funny. The Canes keep getting propped up there. They've played the easiest schedule of anyone in the ACC. They haven't played anyone ranked the entire year. They don't play Clemson. They don't play SMU. They don't play Pitt. The other 3 top teams in the ACC. And they have a loss in the ACC. SMU is undefeated. SMU, yes, they lost early to BYU, who is, up until last week, a top 10 team. They're a top 15 team. They're still control their own destiny to make the playoffs, BYU. And that's SMU's only loss. That was at the beginning of the year. They haven't lost since, and they're beating the crap out of teams. To me, they're the ACC favorite, as much as they keep propping up UM because, which I don't understand. UM hasn't been good in 20 years, but for some reason, they're getting treatment that they're getting the opposite of FSU. FSU was getting pushed out. They're getting pushed up. We'll see. They have to finish with just 1 loss in the ACC to even have a chance to get the conference championship. To me, it's SMU or bust in the ACC right now, and we'll see a second team. I don't know. It's hard to believe the ACC is not good. To get a second team into the playoffs would be a little weird. And the Big 12 heading into this year looked really strong, and a lot of their teams fell off. Kansas was a disaster. Kansas State's been okay, but not great. Oklahoma State's been an utter disaster. Utah with their quarterback issues has been So Colorado's had a strong year, and BYU. That's really where we are with the Big 12. We'll see how that finishes off, but a lot. Oh, geez, with that perk. Oh God. Actually, maybe I'll do a little perk action. Let's see. Maybe we're not going to be wrapping up. I was supposed to have Chris Perkins. This morning got a little hairy, so maybe I will have one Chris Perkins. Considering we're still here and I'm rambling with you all, and the Dolphins have been very interesting, and they have woke up a little bit. So maybe we'll see what the Dolphins have in store. Chris Perkins covers the Miami Dolphins. He is the Miami Dolphins columnist for the Sun Sentinel, and we'll see. I think he'll join me now. So I think he's going to join me now. I was going to tap out a little early, but I think we're going. Oh, there's Defo. I don't know if Defo's there. Defo, you there? Defo? No Defo. Okay. Chris Perkins, I think, is going to be joining me. So we might hang around for a little overtime, as we like to call it on the Mayo Show, Lunchbox, and sometimes here. I think Defo's trying, and I give him credit, but I think his video camera's screwed up. But Sun Sentinel, Miami Dolphins columnist Chris Perkins, I think, will be joining us. So why not hang around a little bit longer? I was talking about the college football playoffs, and now we will talk Miami Dolphins with this gentleman, the one and only Chris Perkins, unless he's frozen. Which he looks frozen as our day of technical issues abound. And he's there again. Let's try this again. And he's an even cooler pose. I like the pose. You look like you GQ. I hear you. We're getting the shades of Chris Perkins looking angry, then looking like he's ready to be the cover of a photo shoot. Now he's happy. We're getting the different phases of
no idea, dude.
I hear you. So
I don't know what's going on here.
I hear you. We've lost Defo. My internet's been in and out. Your smile is lovely, and I hear you loud and clear. So let's just roll through it, my friend. Chris Perkins, again, Sentinel Miami Dolphins columnist, a dear friend of the show. I think he's a friend in life. He actually spoke highly of me to my wife. So even if he's not a friend, I appreciate the lies. Let's start here. When last we spoke, they were not on a 2-game win streak. You called. I have put a lot of the blame on the defense because just the way they're letting teams go up and down the field. You put the onus on the offense. You said it was never about the defense. It's always been about the offense. The offense has to be better in order for them to win and even have a shot at the playoffs. The offense has. The offense is now averaging, I think, 27.5 or something points since Tua's returned. They have done the end of game drives we haven't seen going back to, I don't even know the last time maybe Marino, when you got the ball at the end of a game, you needed to get a score to make it 2 scores or run out of clock. They've been doing that lately. Where are you with the Miami Dolphins now that they sit 4-6 and are on a 2-game heater?
I like what I'm seeing, Lubie. I really do. And you know, the offense is not a complete product right now. That's fine. That's fine. It's been a 4-game switch since Tua has been back, right? That they went from Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle to Tua, Achane, and Jonnu Smith. And so it's going to take some time to smooth out the wrinkles, but I like what I'm seeing out there. I like what Mike McDaniel is doing, especially because, look, Lubie, we know all of last year, these teams were trying their best to shut down Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, and the good teams did it. And I kept saying you need something underneath. You need a tight end or a slot receiver. Well, they got both this year, and look at what it's doing for that offense right now. Really more the tight end than OBJ, but Jonnu he's a weapon. He's a force. It's Achane and Jonnu, and now Mike McDaniel, to his credit, is being smart enough that he's not forcing the deep pass to Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, right? That's the difference. And so we see the efficiency with Tua on 3rd down, right? I mean, the dude is like 70% of his passes, and they're moving the chains. And that's why you can have these 12 and 14 play touchdown drives as opposed to field goal drives also, because he's taking that underneath stuff that the defense is giving him. He's being patient. Credit Mike McDaniel, credit Tua. I like what I'm seeing, Lubie.
Well, and the thing is, and we've talked about this a lot, the 2 prongs to that are, first of all, run the ball, right? You need the run to work. But, and old school coaches always talk about this. Even when the run's not working, you can't just totally go away from it, because then teams are going to stack the box and they're going to attack the quarterback. You have to at least throw it in there. And one thing I'll give McDaniel, for a couple weeks there, it was working really well. They've had some injury issues on the offensive line, but they're still sticking with it. They're still making sure the run's in there, and you can see it allowing them to have these long drives. And that's the second prong, was we've always talked about this. Look, the high-flying offense is fun, but you always see, whether it's the Dolphins or other teams, when you get against good defenses, they're going to take away the big play. And this was Patrick Mahomes' issue early on, and he's gotten better at it. Can you have the patience, not even the skill, because guys are open. Can you have the patience to not force something that's not there? And it's funny, the announcers kept talking about it last week and trying to make it a negative. I'm like, this is a positive, you idiots. I'm like, this is what I've been looking for from this Miami Dolphins team the last 2+ years. Don't force it. Get other guys involved. If Hill and Waddle aren't getting their numbers, you can quote unquote use them as decoy. Like, let them suck in the attention. And look, OBJ's not putting up big numbers, but he's making timely catches. And Jonnu Smith is finally he's not being used. He's being a force. What do you think happened? Like, because it feels like that what we've been begging for. And even you as a reporter, we talked about this, and they weren't doing it. What happened? Like, and it's because even before Tua got hurt, they weren't doing this. Their offense was struggling, and it's like they finally just said, screw it. You want to take away, we're going to make you work. And they're shortening the games too. They're allowing the defense to sit on the sideline. They're allowing their offense to just control the tempo. And it's been wonderful to see. I'm just sort of like, okay, why now?
Right. Yeah, no, I agree 100%, Lubie, because this is what they should have done all last season. Going into last season, they should have had a receiving tight end like Jonnu and a slot receiver like OBJ. But Mike McDaniel, he's a young coach, and he's stubborn and he's arrogant. And it was like, no, my deep passing game is going to work. And it's like, Mike, you've got to kind of have a mixture there. You got to chill out a little bit. You got to, and again, to his credit, like I think finally this year it sank in that, look, I've just got to take what the defense is giving me. And now you've won back-to-back games for the first time in almost a year. It had been since last year, the Jets and a Dallas game, since they had won back-to-back games. That was in December. It's almost been a year. So, yeah, I've got to credit Mike McDaniel and I've got to credit Tua. I don't know how Tyreek and Jalen Waddle feel about this. I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't think that they're disruptive. I don't think that at all. I just think they're wondering where their roles are going to be in this offense. And I'll tell you this, Lubie, if they can combine what they have now with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, well, now you're talking about a team that could get to maybe the AFC Championship. Seriously, I'm not even joking about that. And you know how big a skeptic and a cynic that I've been of this offense. But you need a 1-2 punch, and they always had a 1 punch, but not a 2 punch. Now you've got Achane and Jonnu. So now you've got the 2. You need to rediscover the 1. But boy, if they get that, this offense is really, really close to unstoppable.
Well, but isn't that the point? Is eventually they'll get theirs, right? Like teams aren't going to they're only going to let Jonnu Smith and Achane beat them so many times. Like at some point, they're going to cover Kerr, they're going to cover Paxson, and Jordan's going to get his, right? Like the idea is the great guys always rise to the surface. And you look, it was what the Patriots' idea before they got Moss was this kind of an offense. They got Moss. They didn't took this offense. I remember them hitting a stride where we watched them. They were going up and down the field, but I don't think day one Moss was like just terrorizing teams. Like I think at some point, like teams are going to go, shoot, we have to cover these guys. Hill's going to get his. And why I agree with you. I hope they're patient enough to understand that. But like the best offenses are offenses that are unable to be defended. Teams that started to find ways to defend them.
Right.
This is how you make your team unstoppable is who the hell do we call like you can't cover everyone.
Exactly. And you know, here's the next step for this offense. Again, it's only been 4 games since Tua's return from the concussion. Achane and Jonnu have to show that they can go to Green Bay and beat the Packers. Yes. And that's when teams like San Francisco and Houston are going to go, oh, well, we can't just let those guys run wild. We have to bring an 8th guy down into the box and expose ourselves to Tyreek and Jalen because Achane and Jonnu are just going to eat our lunch if we don't do that. That's when you've really got something rolling. That's what I was hoping that this offense would have done last year. Coming off of 2022, when you kind of observed this pattern of the good teams trying to take away Tyreek and Jalen. But again, Mike McDaniel was young and arrogant, and he thought we don't need a tight end. We don't need a slot receiver. We're going to do it our way. But they did get smart over the offseason. And then it took them a few games into this season to really fully utilize Jonnu. But they've done it. And you see a path to the playoffs now, Lubie. They need to win 5 of their last 7, but you see a path because of this offense. And by the way, the defense is I'm trying to see if I got my numbers right. They're number 7 in the league overall. I want to say number 8 against the pass and number 10 against the run or something like that. So, you know, we're talking offense. That Anthony Weaver has that defense balling too.
Okay, well, let me ask you and I get it. Numbers supposedly don't lie, but they can hide the truth a little.
Yes.
Because look, the defense, it's not playing. Again, you've been with us enough to know I'm the guy that says this guy sucks when he's pretty good. You know, like I'm a fan at heart, and I've grown into quote unquote being a broadcaster, right? Like I get there's a lot more nuance to it, but I'm born and raised down here, and I watch the game yelling at the defense. So I get they're not allowing. If you're talking about scoring, they're not allowing teams to score a lot. But what they are doing is allowing teams to possess the ball for very long periods of time, including some of the worst like the Raiders had literally just fired like their entire offensive staff.
Right.
And I think they scored on all but 2 possessions. And yeah, it wasn't all touchdowns. And I get that. And that's what they did versus the Rams. Let's keep them out of the end zone. But to me, eventually the good teams will get it in the end zone. And the Raiders did 2 out of the last 3 possessions or 2 out of the last 4 possessions. And that last possession, if they had another 30 seconds, they were putting it in the end zone. what do you do with that? I get it. It may be a systematic thing where we're going to out-possess you, we're going to outscore you, fine, have your possessions. But that still scares me. Like a team like the Niners will be able to possess the ball and score. The Texans possess the ball and score. And you need to probably split one of those games to really have a shot to get in the playoffs. What do you do with the way the defense is playing? I guess statistically they're actually among league leaders. But when you watch the game, they're not dominant. You know, they're letting teams move the ball and possess it, which is then cutting down on your offensive possessions. And their tackling's become getting off the field on third down is utterly, they allow 3 third and longs on one drive versus the Raiders last week. Like, there are negatives to what seems like a solid defense. What do you do with those negatives?
That's who this defense is, Lubie. And you have to understand that, look, this defense is without Chubb and without Jalen Phillips. And so, you know, and it's just gone through the change at linebacker. Jordan Poyer is not playing very well at all. So this is, you know, I just reeled off those numbers, but I think also the number that Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator, tells us that matters most to him is points allowed.
Yes.
And I believe that they're 15th, a middle of the road 15th. They allow like 22 points per game. That's who this defense is. And they're going to be leaky. They're still going to allow the big play occasionally. You know, here is my deal with Buffalo, okay? The defense goes into that game with no Chubb, no Phillips, no Sealer, no Javon Holland, no Cater Kohu.
Yeah.
The offense was the most loaded it's ever been in the Mike McDaniel era. Tua's healthy, Tyreek is healthy, Jalen's healthy, Teron's healthy, Raheem, Devon Achane. You had 5 Pro Bowlers on that field from the number 1 offense in the league, and you added Jonnu and OBJ. Again, against the defense that's missing Sealer and Chubb and Phillips. And that's what this team is. Like, you spent all your money on offense, right? You let Andrew Van Ginkel go. You let Christian Wilkins go. And you drafted Patrick Paul, and you drafted Jalen Wright, and you signed Jonnu, and you signed OBJ. Like, this is who you are. This is who you want it to be. So really, you're not going to want to hear this. This offense has to outscore some teams every now and then. Like, your defense, you didn't put any money into the defense. You didn't put any emphasis into the defense. It all went to the offense. That's why the offense against Green Bay, maybe against Houston, maybe against San Francisco, you're probably going to have to score 30 or more. That's just the way it is. That's how you built this team.
Yeah, look, it's funny because it's not like the Dolphins have been defensive stronghold, except for like that small era with Taylor and Thomas. And then I guess if you go back to the early 80s, go back to the early 70s. But it's felt because the offense has been for so long until Tua and Mike McDaniel, the idea of a shootout and outscoring teams is something that's hard for me to fathom. And that is a strategy for teams. There are teams that just say, look, man, we're going to have to score a lot of points. That's how we're going to win. It's just, you just said it. It's tough to watch when you're watching 3rd and 11, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10. They're getting no pass rush. The guys are just running free. And it's like, but yes, you're right. They have a lot of injuries at key spots that would sort of stymie that. You talked about if they get everything right, they could be AFC championship contender. We'll see about that. Where are you now? You were a guy that thought they were going to win 9-10 games. They could be a playoff team. They could not be a playoff team. You were very up in the air on what the Dolphins were going to be. They struggle. They seem to come back around. Where are you now with them? Because again, they play the Jets. They play some teams. Look, and even the Packers, Texans, and Niners, they're not the world beaters we thought they were coming into this year. They've all of them, especially at the quarterback position, have had their struggles. Stroud's not the same guy he was last year, and I'm sure he's a good kid, and he's a talented kid. He's still young, sophomore and all that. Love had his injury issues. We know that. And the Niners, look, the one thing you liked about Purdy was that he doesn't turn the ball over. He's now looking like Josh Allen at times. Like, he turned the ball over a lot lately. Yep. So these are all winnable games. Where are you with the Dolphins and their pursuit of the playoffs?
I give them a 50-50 chance, really. Look, Lubie, And when I say the offense is going to have to score 30s in some games, that's not your formula. You know, this defense, right? You better not have to score 30 against the Patriots, this right, or against Cleveland, or twice against the Jets. Like, you ought to be able to hold those teams to 17, 20, whatever. But and like you say, and here's why I think that it's still about Green Bay, Houston, and San Francisco. Is because the Dolphins struggle on the road. Green Bay and Houston are on the road, and they struggle against teams 500 or better. San Francisco is 5-5 now. They'll probably be around 500 by the time these teams play. Green Bay is the only team left on the schedule, Lubie, that might win 10 games. Okay. I don't know. Houston is 6-4. They might. San Francisco 5-5. So it's doable. It's doable. You know, you got 2 games against the Jets. They're 3-8. 1 game against Cleveland. They're 2-8 maybe. And then the game against the Patriots, they're 3-8. So it's doable. 50-50 chance. You know, one thing that I do need to see from this offense is so, Lubie, you're going to a more physical style. You're starting to run the ball. How is Devon Achane going to hold up, right? I think he's already got more touches this year than he had last year. That's a good thing. But he's already had a concussion this year, so you got to watch that. Teron Armstead, he didn't practice all last week due to a knee. Can he go 9 straight games playing a more physical style? And not as much pass blocking. Now you're doing more run blocking. So these are things that I still need to see with this offense. Again, I like the path that they're taking. I really do. I like the strategy. I like Mike McDaniel's awareness. Yep. But if you're going to a more physical style, do you have the players to do that? Raheem Mostert has already missed 3 games with a chest injury. He's fumbled in the run game, right? So yeah, you're making a change to a style that you're not really equipped for. So that's kind of why I'm also wait and see. But I 50-50. I'm fairly optimistic overall, though, Lubie.
I mean, they were just 2-6, and they had lost a ton in a row. So 50-50 is a ridiculous place to be, actually, when we looked at it from that point. Before we go, you talked about the line. So Jackson's on IR. Jackson's done for the year. That means he's like done.
Right. Yes, he's not coming back.
What sucks about that is Lamb showed promise last year, and he's been, I don't know what that, like, he's not been good. Like,
you know, he's a good pass blocker. He's not a good run blocker. You know, they did a good job against Max Crosby.
Yeah,
and
Crosby didn't cause any havoc, actually.
None. But again, you know, they're smart. It wasn't a lot. Teron Armstead went 1-on-1 with Max Crosby. When it was Kendall Lamb's turn, you saw running backs and tight ends help. And so they were very smart. And in previous years, what we saw was, well, to hell with that. We're sending everybody out in pass patterns, and Tua is going to get rid of the ball quickly. And now you see, all right, well, let's be smart. Let's keep a tight end in, right. Let's have a running back chip at least before he goes out. Let's not be all out. Let's be smart about how we approach things. So more credit to Mike McDaniel. You know, we're not going to be this all out deep pass. We're going to be smart. We'll give some help. So yeah, the offensive line, you know, I like what I've seen. Look, you don't have 5 Pro Bowl players on that line. We know that, but just be good enough. And that's what they've been, good enough.
No, look, they're allowing Tua to have enough time where he feels confident to make those plays that people didn't think he could make. Like, moving in the pocket, they're running around. He did it in Alabama, and people are like, what happened? Well, when you have no line, it's the ghost thing that Sam Darnold always talked about. Like, you just don't have the confidence to allow yourself to even try those moves. He's now getting enough time most of the plays that when it does break down, and it's occasionally, I'll give it credit as hard as I've been on the line. It's been occasionally that's broken down. He's now confident to go on the move, and he's playing the best ball of his. I know he's had better stats, but when you're the way they're finishing games, the way he's playing on third down, the confidence he's playing with, it's hard to say he's played better at any other point in his career. And it's not like he's putting up the stats like he's done. What he's doing is just winning. And that's what people have been begging for him to do.
Right. He's commanding the offense. I mean, he really looks like he's comfortable and that he's in charge. And Lubie, I'll say this, man, it just looks like now that he doesn't have to go to Tyreek and Waddle deep. Yeah, it's a brand new world. All right, now I can go to work, right? I can relax. I don't have to make Tyreek happy and make Waddle happy. Now I can move this offense and do what's best for the team. And yeah, it seems like Tua is more free, right? He's using his feet. It is a more confident, comfortable Tua, I think.
We'll see what happens. Well, we'll leave the talk of futures of Greer and McDaniel alone. They're winning. Even I'll not even ask that, because you get a stay of execution when your team's actually.
I know. So here, let me tell you this real quick, Lubie. I think there's kind of a paradox for Dolphins fans, right? Because if you make the playoffs and make this miraculous second half run, Chris Greer is almost certainly coming back.
I know. That's my preference in my FSU Seminoles, where people are like, "Oh, I'd rather be 6-7. 1-9 is horrendous, but at least they got rid of a lot of coaches I thought sucked for the last 3 years that were just sort of skating by." You root to win, and if they find a way into the playoffs, look, a lot of it came down to McDaniel, a guy that you were going to say no matter what was probably going to be here. I questioned his play calling. I questioned a lot of the strategies, and as of now, he's been doing the things we asked him to do. So maybe it gives Chris Greer a pass if your coach does a good job. Look, I'll take it, to be brutally honest, because I like McDaniel. We've all liked McDaniel. I just didn't like some stuff we were seeing, because it felt like he was being stubborn. It felt like he was being sort of immature and just not doing what experienced coaches learn. Maybe he's finally learning some of that. We'll see what happens. The Patriots this weekend, hopefully it's another win, and enjoy this weekend's action, Perkman, and we'll hopefully talk to you again real soon, my friend. Thank you for doing this.
All right. Thanks, Lubie. Anytime, man.
One only Chris Perkins. Dear friend of the show, great job covering the Dolphins. Appreciate everyone who stuck with us through all the fun. We will today be back at 1 o'clock for Mike Mills Lunchbox, back at Gilbert 17th Street Grill over there on Federal Highway and 17th Street, the Cordova Shops, for Defo, who was here, but technical difficulties took him away. Thanks, Dave Gurggles Gergely, for hosting our trivia challenge, and congratulations, Andy Man, who was our champion today. I will be doing trivia tonight with the one and only Professor Landlubber's Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, Sunrise area, Sunrise Boulevard, Pine Island. We start that at 6:30, so we'd love to have you. It's a lot of fun. And we'll be back tomorrow morning. The professor himself will be joining us here, 8:30 p.m., 8:30 a.m., 8:30 p.m. I will be having some fun. It's a Friday night, but 8:30 a.m. we'll have the professor for his big board and his college football plays. And at 8 o'clock, we'll be here, Defo and I, for Defo. I am Mike Lubie Lubitz. We'll see you at 1 o'clock on Mike Mills Lunchbox. Now that the time, it is 9:18.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my show.